We are back with another edition of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I'm Tim McMaster, and stepping into the cage today we have Trey Mancini, rookie for the Baltimore Orioles, slugging plenty of home runs early on in this season. Trey, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
All right, fans, you know how this works. You can get on Twitter, use the hashtag Chatting Cage, or use the MLB Fans app to get your questions in, or press that button on the bottom of your screen. You can actually get in line and ask your own question of Trey Mancini. We'll get to some of that as we get on down the road here. We're going to start on social media, though, Trey, and Danny Darkside wants to know, if you could do anything else for a living other than play baseball, which is obviously going very well for you, what would it be if you weren't a baseball player?
Yeah, that's tough. It changed a lot for me growing up, but I'd say right now my answer would be like getting into broadcasting or something, and that's something I might be interested in if I'm fortunate enough after I'm done playing. It's something that's always interested me, and I kind of wish I would have done more in college along those lines. But right now I would say broadcasting would actually would probably be my answer there.
Well, hopefully we can help you out here, get you some FaceTime on the air, and someday maybe you make your way in that direction. The cool thing about the Edward Jones Chatting Cage is we have fans on the line, and we have one right now ready to go. Go ahead, tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Trey.
I'm Simon Dexter from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and my question is, what is the funniest clubhouse prank you've ever witnessed?
The funniest clubhouse prank I've ever witnessed. I mean, I haven't been here too long, so I haven't seen anything like too much as far as pranks go. But I'll try to keep you guys updated if I see anything. They have last year we had rookie dress up, which was pretty funny. They had good outfits for all of us. So I was dressed up as Joe Dirt, and we went up to Canada. And then they let us out in like the middle of the street in Toronto, and we had to find our way back to our hotel wearing all these absurd costumes. So I'd say that was probably, from my experience, like the funniest prank that I saw.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. And you have some good veteran guys in that clubhouse who I'm sure
very much
keep
so.
things fun. And speaking of those guys, back to the MLB Fans app, and Max Al wants to know, what's it like playing in a lineup with the guys like Trumbo, Machado, Jones, Davis? What's it like being in that order with those guys?
It's incredible. Sometimes I look up at the board like before a game and see my name next to everybody else in the lineup, and it's very humbling because I saw a lot of these guys play when I was in high school and college, and to be on the same team as them now is pretty crazy, and something that I will never take for granted.
Following up on that same question, still on the Fans app, the Brett Moore wants to know, have any of those O's veterans imparted any helpful advice or suggestions to you early on?
Yeah, a lot of them have. Like an example, last week, I had kind of been going through a little struggle at the plate, and Mark Trumbo came up to me in the dugout in Boston and shared some words of wisdom from his rookie year, and he had kind of gone through the same thing like everybody does, but it meant a lot for him to come up and talk to me, and it did really help me and help me get some confidence back.
And you got off to such a great start, not just this season, but as a whole to your career. 8 home runs in your first 17 games. That tied a major league record. Eventually, there's obviously going to be a little lull in that power, and it's great to have guys like Chris Davis to lean on. We have another fan ready to go. Go ahead, tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Trey.
Hey, I'm Emily. I'm from New York. And my question is, what have been the biggest keys to the Orioles' success so far this season?
Yeah, I think I'd say it's the veteran leadership on our team, and so many guys have been here for so long, and they just know how to go about their business, and that's kind of us as rookies, we see that, and it gives you a lot of confidence, and you go about your business how they do, and we just have great team camaraderie, and there are certain things that projections can't measure, and I think that we're as good as anybody as far as like camaraderie goes, and little things to help you win baseball games. We really pay attention and try to do those things right.
And it seems like every year people don't pick the Orioles to be right there at the top of the AL East, and every year you guys are there. I know Buck Showalter also a big part of that as well. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. It gives fans a chance to ask questions of their favorite ball players. We have another fan ready to go now. Go ahead, tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Trey.
Hey, Trey. Huge Trey Mancini fan. Hey, I'm located here in South Bend, Indiana. Hey, I realize that South Bend. Hey, Trey. How's it going, man? Hey, I just wanted to ask you, compared to the powerhouse that is Notre Dame baseball, how does Baltimore's competitiveness compare to the highly competitive atmosphere in South Bend?
I mean, it's hard to compare college baseball to Major League Baseball. I had a great experience there at Notre Dame, and I'll always love Notre Dame so much. But there's nothing like playing in Baltimore and playing at the Major League level at some of the places we play at. But like I said, it's tough to compare the two. But yeah, nothing really gets better than this.
Little shout out from South Bend in your college days. It's now time for our EDJ question of the day. The question today is, what are your personal goals for the 2017 season?
I haven't really set any numbers goals, I'd say. I'm more or less just my goal. Every day I come to the park, I want to do something to contribute to help the team win. And I just as a younger guy, you don't want to be too flashy or voice your opinion too much. I just want to come put my head down and try to help the team win and try to put up some good numbers because more or less, I mean, and that's what everybody wants to do. But yeah, I haven't set like a certain home run goal or RBIs, but I just want to be a big influence on the team and help us win.
Excellent. Good stuff. Back to the Fans app, and this one from Lavoris wants to know, hey, I'll be there tonight for Trey Mancini T-shirt night. We fans are so happy you're an Oriole. What's it been like for you to be with the O's and to get off to a great start?
It means the world to me. I grew up coming to games here at Camden Yards, actually. My mom's side of the family's from Bowie. So my grandfather and uncles would take me to games here every summer. So especially being on the Orioles in particular it's a special thing for me. And especially since we've gotten off to such a good start, it's a really fun environment to be around. And yeah, the atmosphere here has been great.
And Bowie, of course, home of the Bay Sox, the Double-A team. And I think you have the T-shirt, Trey.
Yeah,
let's see it. What are fans going to get tonight?
I still can't. Yeah. This is the T-shirt. Got my name on the front and number on the back. So I don't know what I did to deserve this. I think there's a few more worthy candidates, but it is quite an honor to have a T-shirt.
What's it going to be like being on the field tonight, looking around the crowd and seeing all these people wearing your T-shirt?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty surreal. It's definitely a cool thing, and part of the reason why you play since you're a little kid is for things like that. And I'll definitely try to cherish that here.
This is D. Payne wants to know, Trey, why do you go by Trey and not your real first name?
Yeah, so my real name's Joseph Anthony Mancini III, and then Trey means three, pretty much. So my parents, I think they had a waiter or something when my mom was pregnant with me who his name was Trey, and they asked how he got the name, and he was the third. And it just so happened that my dad was junior, and they really liked the name and decided to go with it.
That is a pretty typical reason, I think, for most people that go by the nickname Trey. But good stuff, definitely. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, your chance to get in line, get some questions in with your favorite players and coaches and everything around Major League Baseball. And I think we have a fan ready to go. Here they are. Go ahead, tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Trey Mancini.
Hey, I'm Mike Harris in beautiful Pomona, California. That's my pool. And I'm just wondering, who would you say is your greatest of all time? You're the all-time best baseball player for you.
Ooh, that's tough. I'd still go with Babe Ruth. I mean, there's so many legends that have played baseball, but growing up, he's like the guy that you usually hear is like the best baseball player of all time. You kind of think Babe Ruth, I'd say, more than any other person. Just what he did, especially at the time that he did it. He actually grew up right here in Baltimore and was discovered not far from here, just playing in a schoolyard. And he just, the guy could hit, and you see videos of his swing, and it's pretty special, especially that was 100 years ago that he played. So I'd say Babe Ruth is who I would probably say is the best of all time, but that's very debatable.
Yeah, and the Babe, never an Oriole, but grew up right down the park, right down the street from Camden Yards. His museum is there as well. I know people can go and check that out. A big part of Baltimore baseball. And we have another fan in line ready to go. Go ahead, tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Trey.
Hey, Trey. My name is Dan. I'm from Joppa. And I'm curious if you have any pregame rituals or superstitions.
I don't have anything like too much. I just try to do the same thing every day when I get to the park, like hit in the cage at the same time. Like in batting practice, I try to do the same thing every day. With like my first round, I'll swing about 50%, try to go opposite field, and then kind of build up from there. But before the game starts, there's nothing in particular too much that I do. When I was in AA, I'd eat a bowl of Lucky Charms before every day, but I got off of that. We don't have Lucky Charms in there because it probably got too much sugar, I think. But yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee, I think, before the game. I'd say that's as close to a pregame ritual that I have.
All right, Trey, we are out of time. Thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy Trey Mancini T-shirt tonight.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for another edition of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Tune in again next time.